Jan Campbell has a prophetic anointing upon her life that I respect highly. She has a word for me. Come give it to me now.
Ruckins, I believe that you've reached out and you've touched the children of Nabal. You've touched the ones that have seen their parents ripped off, the ones that have seen the ones that were in a place of fruitfulness. And Jezebelic spirits came, and they came and they ripped off that place of fruitfulness. And you've ministered to Nabal's children. But the Lord your God would say that it is a time to shout. It's a time to call forth the Nabals again. It's a time to call forth those that think that they have died, saith God. It's a time to bring back that place of fruitfulness, because Nabal's children need fathering and need mothering. The Lord would say, yes, you minister to the youth, but my son, saith the Lord, I'm opening doors of opportunities. There's going to be more opportunities, but there's going to be less choices, saith God, because I've got you in my grip in a new way, saith God. You've not known what it is to have a father, saith God, that you can trust and you can yield and you can draw from that that's around his life. But this is a new season, saith the Lord your God. This is a season when you're going to rise up, and it's not just going to be the excitement, saith the Lord, but it's going to be the compassion, and it's going to be the brokenness, saith God, that you're going to minister out of. And you're going to minister unto those, saith God, that once ran well. You're going to minister unto those, saith God, that's known what it is to stand amongst the anointed stones. You're going to minister to those, saith God, that the younger generation need to look up to as a younger model. And you're going to call forth, saith the Lord, the mothers and the fathers that have been killed by the Jezebels. You're going to minister and you're going to speak that word forth, saith God. Even as I stood and I called forth Lazarus from the tomb, even so, my son, saith the Lord your God, you're going to stand and you're going to say, come forth. And the voices that have spoken to them, the voices that have gone down over the years and have shut out the gifts that I've put upon their lives, those voices are going to be silenced because of the power of the word that you have within you to minister, saith God. So shout yes to this generation. Shout yes to Nabal's children, but shout to the Nabal, saith God, because it's time for them to rise from the dead. It's time for them, saith God, to rise up, that they might be in a place to help to carry this move of God, saith the Lord your God.
Come on, come on. I receive that word. I receive that word. You have no idea. I receive that word from Australia's own. I receive that word. When I was in Durban, South Africa, just a couple of weeks ago, thanks to Pastor Clark's recommendation, thank you again. Powerful, powerful move of God took place there in Durban. Crowds, they just were turning cars away the last night because there was nowhere to park. It was amazing, but I was there and I was saying, God, I'm due a word. I need a word. I need a word because you've told me some things, but I want it confirmed. I want it confirmed, and I felt that someone there had a word for me. And I kind of knew who it was, but they didn't give it. So I got all the way back to the United States, and I went to my spiritual mom, and my wife and I were sharing the DVDs with her, and we were discussing Australia, and out of nowhere she said, someone was supposed to give you a word. She said, but they didn't for whatever reason. She said, but God's going to get it to you anyway. She said, and the person that was supposed to have gotten it, she said, but the one that gives it is going to get the blessing. So when you told me that, that's why my spirit leapt. And that is such a confirmation to me, because I was just telling my church that God has placed it in my heart to start a series called The Sons of the Prophets.